Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Unbreakably Bold. It's your host, Christina Delgado, and I am so grateful and excited to be here with you guys today. So, where to even start with this episode? I feel like the title alone, you know exactly why we're here today. And if you came specifically to listen to this episode, you know, maybe it's an experience that you're going through as far as pet loss. Honestly, I'm making this episode for you, and probably a little bit selfishly for me too. I have been feeling such heavy energy for the past 2 months or so, and I feel like it's because all over Facebook, all over Instagram, I'm seeing that people that I love, people that I once was very close with, like older friends, and then random people that I don't even know have all been experiencing pet loss. Pet loss is something I have experienced in the past, but not to the level that I have experienced recently. If you've been a longtime listener of the show, you will know that my dog Rocki passed away back in April of 2022. And I had Rocki when he was 9 years old, and is the hardest thing that I think I might have ever been through. Like, I would rather go through 10 breakups, like my most extreme breakups, than to feel the pain that I have been feeling for almost a year now. And like I mentioned, I have seen some of my old friends, and when I say old friends, I mean people that I just have chosen to no longer be friends with anymore. And I've seen that they have been going through pet loss, or that they had to put their pet down, or whatever that looks like. And to be honest, I immediately feel their pain. And so many times I wanted to just pick up the phone and be like, I'm so sorry for what you're going through. I know this pain. If you need anything, you know, let me know. But I can't do that because it would just be opening up a can of worms, and those people are removed from my life for a reason, and I don't feel ready to go there yet. So a lot of this is like coming from me just sending a message to anyone and everyone who's struggling with pet loss. But you know, especially to the people that I once loved so much that I know we're going through this. And they probably wouldn't even listen to this episode, but this is me just like sending my love in a different kind of way, as I've been doing it on my own, but on more of, I guess, a bigger platform. This is really just my way of meeting you guys maybe where you're at. And I definitely was like, is this like niche related to my podcast? Like, is this Unbreakably Bold, you know, content, energy? And I ultimately decided that it is, because as humans, we are unbreakably bold every single day. We wake up and choose to be, but that doesn't mean that we don't go through shit that hurts. That doesn't mean that we don't go through anguish and that we don't go through devastating loss. The biggest thing about being unbreakably bold is that you're authentic and you're true to who you are, and you're a human that goes through hardship and chooses to come back, step into their power, and give value into the world and serve the world in whatever way that looks like for you. Also, it's my own fucking podcast, so I have full creative control. So let's talk about pet loss, and especially losing your soul animal, your soul dog, your soul cat, your soul bird. This is an all-inclusive episode for all animals. As I mentioned, I had been through a pet loss before, but it was like a family dog. And it's so much different when it's like your child dog, like when it's your child animal. And it is something that I knew from the jump. Like, I got Rocki at 9 years old. It's pretty old. And I knew that I was one day going to have to, you know, deal with this pain and deal with the loss of my best friend. But I did not expect it when it happened. It honestly came out of nowhere for me. He had a heart murmur when I got him that was pretty large and intense, and he had been on medicine and doing all the things, but ultimately it was just his time to go, and we spent our last day on a hike, which was our favorite thing to do. So when his loss happened, when he passed away, I just like I felt in this moment, and I continue to feel my heart aching every single day. Like, not a day goes by that he does not cross my mind multiple times a day, and that my heart doesn't literally ache for him. Like, just to get like one last look in his eyes, one last hug, like squeeze, one last walk. Like, fuck, I hated taking that dog out on walks half the time, but like I don't go on walks like I used to, and it's hard for me. I used to love hiking at my favorite hiking spot, and I struggle to go. I really have only gone these days with friends because I end up moving up the whole mountain fucking crying. So the biggest thing that I did not expect when I originally lost Rocki is that there are so many layers of pet grief. And to preface the layers, because I would like to go through them, just in case it's something you're feeling. I've gone through so many ups and downs and different feelings and layers of this grief, and sometimes I question myself, and I was like, is this normal? Like, am I crazy? And it's funny because it brought me back to the reason why I created Unbreakably Bold in the first place. It's for us to not be alone. It's for us to not have to go through healing alone. And healing through pet loss is possible. It's hard, but we can heal through it, and we can heal from it. The biggest thing that I experienced when I first lost him was, I hate to admit this, but my initial thought in my brain was, but he's just a pet. Like, people won't understand how hard that is. And honestly, I know that there are people that are like, well, it's just a pet. It's not like losing a human. And arguably, it could be harder. I personally have never lost anyone that I was super, super close with. I've lost family members, but they were always, far away in California. I wasn't always like waking up and my day revolving around them. There's a very big difference. So I don't know how it feels to lose a human that I love so much, but I do know that this pain from a pet is so fucking hard, and it's devastating and almost crippling. Love is love, no matter what. No matter if it's love with your pet, love with a human, love with your spouse, love with your job, like loving something, really loving something is love. Love is love no matter what. And for me, with my soul dog, with Rocki, I quite literally believe that he was brought into my life because we were meant to heal together. My baby had a little abandonment wound just like his mama, okay? And we healed that shit together. One thing that I did not anticipate before losing Rocki was I didn't anticipate feeling like I was losing my identity. Like, I identify as a dog mom. I think like my first episode of Unbreakably Bold, that's one of the things that I identified myself as. And when people talk about their dogs or like being a dog mom or a dog dad, or even on TikTok, like there was a while there where I was just getting like so much dog mom stuff, and I would have normally have loved to participate in those trends. And then I was like, wait, that's not me anymore. I don't have a dog. Like, it was just very weird and unexpected. First of all, I never really even realized that I identified myself so much with my dog. But that shit's real. You go from being a dog mom or a dog dad one day and having this like responsibility, this living, breathing, sweet little baby, and like it's your responsibility to nourish it, give it food, water, a shelter, love, compassion, time, energy. I mean, like, I feel like my entire lifestyle changed because I had a dog. So I surely did not think about the fact that like I was going to be losing my identity in a sense. And with that, I didn't even think about how different my routine would be and how much my routine just revolved around my dog. Like, I used to wake up every morning, right? We wake up, we take our pets out, we bring them back in, even when it's freezing, raining outside, right? And if you have an animal that you're walking outside, you're putting on jackets in the winter. You're making sure that their leash is on correctly, right? You're doing all of these things that take time out of your day. And then all of a sudden you just don't take them out when you wake up. Like, it's just confusing and it's different and it's weird. And, with that, like being able to stay out later at night, like not having to worry about an animal. It's just weird. Your entire home smells like your dog. It feels like your dog. There's just a shift in routine that I wasn't really expecting. One little thing that gets me emotional every single time is I go out of town, I come back in town, right? Like when we have our pets, we are probably leaving them with someone that we love or that we know, right? Like big Rover girl over here. And so you're excited to like come home and get back to your dog and normalcy when you get off that plane. Like I remember getting off the plane and just being like so excited to come home to my little babe and like be reunited and like be safe and comfy at home, and walking through the doors and your dog not being there anymore or your pet not being there anymore is so fucking weird. So I just didn't expect the impact that our routine, our day-to-day routine really was going to have on me with that shifting. Another thing that I really, really experienced with pet loss is just a range of emotions, very much coexisting emotions and like almost conflicting emotions. Like I remember in the very beginning, I love going out, watching the sunset. You guys know the drill. I'm at the park, whatever. And normally, I didn't even really realize this, but typically I have to run home because Rocki was in his cage for too long. I didn't want him to get stressed, right? I'm like worried. So I normally didn't stay for the entire sunset. And then I actually had the opportunity to stay for the entire sunset. And I was so excited because I'm like, hell yeah, I get to see the whole sunset. Like for hours I get to be here. I love that. And then instantly I felt this like wave of shame and just like guilt. Like I was like, how dare I be excited about getting to watch a sunset when it's because I don't have my dog anymore? Like that's fucked. And another thing that really hit me with coexisting emotions is like I was so sad and my heart was breaking, and I couldn't help but just be so overcome with true gratitude. Like I felt joyful because I was so grateful because I even got to have him. And I think that energy definitely is what has like kept me have my shit together and not have gone into full-blown depression, to be honest, because I'm just so grateful. Because to be in so much pain and miss someone so much, I had to have loved so hard, and for that I'm grateful. I got to experience that unconditional love that a lot of people don't live their lives experiencing, and I did through the hardest times of my life. The last layer I really want to talk about is grieving the visions, the dreams that you had with that pet. Like I genuinely thought that I was going to be able to have a family, like get married, like my husband to know Rocki and to have my first baby and him be there. I genuinely, and see how he is with my babies. I thought that is what my future looked like. I thought that I would get the opportunity to buy my first house and have a yard for him to run around off a leash with. I thought that I was gonna have that experience. That was a dream for me, wanting to move to the beach and like show him what the beach is like show him what it's like to be around water and to walk on sand. Like I never got to do that, and those were dreams and visions that I had for us, and I don't get to do that. So it's also like grieving your pet, but also grieving the life that you once had with them, and the other layers, grieving the visions and the future that you thought you were going to get to have together too. So these are just some of the layers that I have experienced through losing my pet. If some of those resonate for you, then I see you. I see you so hard. And I would love to support you in helping you figure out how to move forward and really heal through the loss of your pet. So let's talk through some of the main core concepts that I am working through daily to heal this loss. The number one thing that I'm doing is I am moving through this grief without invalidation, without judgment, only with love and self-compassion. You know, there are a lot of people who would say, it's just a pet, it's no big deal. And because I've heard that, I immediately judged myself and invalidated what I was feeling because of that. There is no way you can heal through anything if you're going to invalidate yourself or judge yourself and not give yourself the space to grieve, to feel, okay? Keep in mind that judgment, the little negative thoughts, they don't belong here. Shut them down and come back with some love and compassion for yourself, because what you're going through right now is fucking real. This pain is fucking real, and you deserve to feel however you fucking feel, period. The next part to this is, you already know I'm going here, feel your feelings. Feel your feelings. That's like one of the top rules of healing anything. Allow yourself to feel. Don't let others make you feel like you need to move on. Don't invalidate yourself by telling you that it's time to move on. You've been crying about this for too long. Make the space to feel. And if you want to work more on how to feel your emotions and really process them, I do have a podcast episode on this. So definitely go check out the other episodes that I have, and that will help you just more in depth figure out how to really feel your feelings in a way that's going to help you process and bring it all full circle. But please feel your feelings. You choosing to not feel them and to avoid them and act like they're not there is only going to cause harm to your mental health, to your physical body, to your lifestyle, literally everything. Avoiding is not what we're gonna do here. And listen, I am the queen of avoiding things, okay? It does not belong here when it comes to your feelings. It's just simply not beneficial. Don't deny the loss. Don't deny what you're feeling. What you're feeling matters. Another tip that has really helped me is talking about it. Talking about it with friends or family. And I will say, grief is scary, right? Like, death is uncomfortable. No one wants to talk about it. I absolutely have felt like that all my life, and I feel like this experience has allowed me to comfort my people more now than I would have ever been able to comfort them before. It really equipped me with that. But talking about your pet that you love so much just makes it feel like they're with you in some way. And that feeling matters. I do have my sister who literally helped me the night that he passed. And it's good to just have like that one safe person that you know you can just come to and say, I'm having a really hard day. I can't stop thinking about my pet. And it goes a long way. So if you're listening and you're that person for somebody else, thank you for being the beautiful human that you are. And if you're on the flip side and you haven't really found anybody to talk to about your pet, I would recommend like just thinking of a close friend or family member that you do feel safe to talk about other things with, and maybe just tell them like, hey, I think it would really help me if I could talk about, you know, my pet whenever the feeling comes up. Do you mind being like that person for me? You know, and that doesn't mean you have to talk about your pet for hours and hours, but there are days that maybe feel harder than others. And sometimes it's nice to just be able to look that person in the eyes, that safe space, and just cry and let it out. I have a few people like that in my corner, and I'm really, really so beyond grateful because it makes a difference in my healing. Special shout out to those people because they help me a lot. And honestly, like sometimes I'll talk to people and they'll be like, yeah, what's going on? Like, how have you been? Blah, 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 right? Just like general stuff. And I'll even throw in there sometimes like, yeah, I've just been having a really hard week, you know, just thinking about Rocki a lot, right? Like I'll even randomly bring it up, and a lot of times they're like, you know, what do you say to that? Like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, and that's all they can say. But even just speaking out loud that like, I am struggling through this right now, that helps through the healing too. My final tip for healing through pet loss is to have something that reminds you of them. Like I know they have these stuffed animals that you can give them a picture and they make it and it looks just like your pet. I wanted it so bad for a while, but I haven't done it. But like getting a memento like that, you know, just keeping a picture nearby, maybe keeping their leash. For me, I keep my dog's like little Christmas onesie. It is like my favorite outfit that he would ever wear, and I just like think of his little like he was a wiener dog. So I just think of his little like tail wagging and like his little like butt cheeks. It's like so cute. So actually this is it. If you're on YouTube, you'll get to actually see it. Obviously podcast, you can't tell, but it's just like a little Christmas onesie. And I literally sleep with this. Like I sleep with this every night, and I basically like just cuddle it, hold on, or sometimes I'm gonna be honest, like it's even just like rolling around in my bed with me, but it helps me. It just like makes me feel like I have my best friend with me. So I definitely recommend getting something that you can hold on to or just like physically feel or see, or something that really reminds you of your pet and the love that you guys once shared. So those are my main tips for handling pet loss. I really can't explain how imperative it is to just allow yourself to feel the feelings when they arise. Like, I get it. Sometimes you're not in the right space to do it. And if you can hold back and not do it in that moment, fine. But make sure you come back to it. You know, take the time to just feel and cry and be angry or be grateful, or any kind of emotions that come up are okay. And only you know the true feelings and emotions that you're feeling. It's up to you to process those and work through them. Please don't avoid them. Please don't act like this didn't happen, because it did happen. You have lost your best friend, and that feeling is indescribable, and you deserve to grieve, no matter what that looks like to other people or to yourself or anyone else. You deserve to grieve, and you deserve to grieve in a healthy way. So don't try to block it out. Let the feelings come up. I know that this podcast episode is a little bit of a bummer. Hopefully next week we'll have something a little bit more high vibe, but this is the real shit that we work through as humans, right? And like, the biggest part of my mission and purpose on this earth, I believe, is to share the good and the bad, the ups and the downs, share the human. Social media makes it so easy to just look like everyone's life is perfect, and it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. Am I happy? Do I still have inner peace? Yes, thank God. Actually, my inner peace is what has kept me sane throughout this whole process of grieving Rocki. But that doesn't mean that I'm not sad, and that doesn't mean that I don't cry a lot. That doesn't mean that my heart isn't quite literally broken. Happiness is a choice, and I choose to be happy. And I choose to feel all of the sadness, any feeling or emotion that comes up. I get to do both. And that is how I have been able to keep my inner peace and keep my mental health at a good place. So I really recommend like leaning on the good times and leaning on the gratitude and leaning on the reason that you're hurting so bad is because you got to love so hard. And not only did you get to love so hard, you were capable of loving that hard, that unconditionally. That is so valuable. That is so powerful. And you did that. You are doing that. As much as it hurts so bad to grieve the loss of a pet, it's also such an opportunity to realize how blessed you are to have been able to love so unconditionally, and how powerful you are to be able to do so as well, especially moving forward. So please recognize that too. You are so fucking powerful, and you should be so, so proud of yourself. Do I have anything else to say on this? I don't think so. I'm sending you all of the love. If you have been impacted by pet loss, there are support groups, there are podcasts that are directly talking about pet loss specifically. There are books, there are a lot of resources out there. So please get the support that you need. Please take care of yourself. Please put your mental health first. Please go take the walks. Please move your body. Please get fresh air whenever you can. I know that this time is hard. It's also your responsibility to take care of yourself, because your pet, who is looking down on you every single day and who is sending you all the love and who is watching out for you, wants the best for you. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. If you enjoyed this episode, I would seriously love it if you would go leave me a review on Apple or Spotify podcasts, rate, all the things. And if you're listening to the show, please share it with me at Unbreakably Bold. I'd love to see what you're doing as you're listening to this podcast, and if you gained any kind of knowledge or value from it. So thank you guys again for your time. I'm sending you so much love.